Hello everyone, this is Zivo and welcome to today's How Worthy video. So it's such a wonder how fast time actually flew by, and it's already been 2 years since the release for Guardian Tales. So in today's video, we're gonna run through the How Worthy series for the second anniversary unit, and that is none other than Party People Mad Panda Trio, which is one of the original characters within Guardian Tales itself. As Kong Studios introduced more game modes such as defensive co-op, such as your expedition, such as your 3v3 arena, the idea of hitting multiple enemies all at the same time is becoming even more important moving forward in the game. So I'll add on a new analysis, which is to talk about the unit's ability to perform in the various game modes that requires it to do AoE damage. So that'll be something which I'll talk about briefly in the upcoming How Worthy videos moving forward. And without further ado, let us take a look at how worthy is Party Crasher Mad Panda Trio Potentially. Mercenary, on-call service, and party. Where there's money involved, there will be the Mad Panda Trio. Scarlet, the leader, was put in a convent at a young age and was bullied by the other kids and disapproved by the nuns. She eventually fled the convent when she witnessed a merchant being treated with utmost respect, as all he has was a ton of money. Red Panda was a famous storyteller before he actually joined the crew, despite his always changing story about himself, but he was a really good one at that. While Danny is a super smart kid when he was super young, but eventually lost his intelligence after a high fever and was eventually forgotten soon after by the crowd that respected him for his smartness. There's no record on how the three of them actually met and came to be known as the Mad Panda Trio, but their search high and low to make cash formed a family-like bond amongst themselves and allowed them to depend on each other like no others. So for those of you guys who do not know, Mad Panda Trio is actually a reference to one of the longest lasting trio in anime history, and that is the Team Rocket in Pokemon. So we have your Melf, which is represented by Red Panda, Scarlet, which is a representation of Jessie, and Danny, which is a representation of James. So the way the story is crafted, as well as the way the three of them actually behaves in the team, is closely similar to the team setup in Pokemon itself. So the stats ranking for Mad Panda Trio based on level 86 heroes are 44th in terms of attack, 70th in terms of HP, 10th in terms of defense with a built-in 5% crit hit chance. Other than that, the party buff for Mad Panda Trio is melee damage plus 50% with a built-in weapon skill regen speed plus 4%, a 10% skill damage as well as a 1% HP recovery on enemy kill. Okay, so for Mad Panda Trio, I think the idea is very creative, but let me just simplify it. First of all, I'll talk about Danny and Red Panda. Basically, the two of them, they are like Noxia Spirit, which spawns themselves and they're able to chase after the enemy and attack them. So the damage that comes from these two units, they are not very high, but they are able to redirect attacks as well as weapon skills. So they are units that can actually die, but they will respawn shortly after a fixed interval, but I'm not too sure about the interval that they will respawn. And their purpose in this unit setup is actually to charge up your 1-for-1 attack or 1-for-all ability, which is the second ability. Then moving forward to the main unit, which is the Scarlet. Scarlet is the female leader in the group, and her attack is pretty straightforward. You press the attack and she will start whipping her whip at the enemy. So there's no cooldown to this ability and you can spam the normal attack for as long as possible. So their secondary ability, 1-for-all, allows them to board the Party Crasher, which is the big robot that you guys can see on screen right now. So when on board the robot, their normal attack animation actually changes, which allows them to deal damage, and they're able to use the draining attack, which is able to charge towards the enemy. However, I'm not too sure whether or not it's a translation error or if it's really meant to be, but as mentioned on the text itself, the damage taken by the unit will be increased by 25% when on board the Party Crasher. So I'm not too sure whether or not it's decreased or increased, but just take note that this is a text within the game description itself. But yeah, so far I don't really think that they took more damage, so I guess it's a bit of translational issue, but I could be wrong on that, so don't take my words. You guys can experiment on your own. And this ability, there's not really a cooldown, right? Like there's no cooldown time. Basically, if you're able to charge up the right bar or the bar to yellow color, you're able to transform into the Party Crasher form. So the chain skill is known as Protocol Party Crasher, which detonates the Party Crasher to deal 250% DPS damage to the enemy and allows One For All to be instantly usable. So One For All is a very important part of this unit's kit, and you guys can see in the special ability, when they use the One For All ability, they increase their defense by 40% for 10 seconds. So if you include the fact that this unit is a gauntlet user, as well as having a high base defense, it makes the unit a lot more tankier whenever they transform. And at the same time, they're also able to negate 2 damage ticks within the 5 seconds of transformation, or whenever they transform for 5 seconds. And this is extremely crucial. If you time it at the correct moment, you might be able to avoid lethal damage and then take the win from there, or you might be able to avoid taking some damage to reduce your damage taken and then chain your enemies from there. So this ability is probably the most important part of the kit, and I'll talk more about it later on. So the EX weapon allows the Mad Panda Trio to increase their attack by 2.5 seconds for 5 seconds, and is able to overlap up to 10 times, so effectively increases their damage by 25% if you're always hitting your enemies. And when on top of the Party Crasher, you're able to use the drill attack, which equates to more damage and more chasing power for Mad Panda Trio. Lastly, we take a look at the weapon skill. The weapon skill is the Mad Giant Swing, which deals a decent amount, which is 240% DPS with a decent regen time of 8.5 seconds. So the ability, or rather the strength of this weapon skill, is the large AoE, which allows you to, cover a wide area whenever you use it. But do take note that the damage ticks only take in effect when your enemy is within the maze hitting AoE. If your enemy is not within the maze hitting AoE, they will not get tick in terms of damage as well as status for the chain skill. So do take note of that. So it's a very big AoE swinging attack, and you want to hit your enemy on the outskirts of the maze swinging. Now moving towards the Colosseum analysis, I think this unit is just not very good in the Colosseum despite the big AoE damage ability. Because first of all, the One For All ability cannot be timed to avoid big massive damage. And secondly, melee teams in general are just not that good in the Colosseum, no matter how you actually set them, because of the one-hit weapon skill ability of Future Princess, as well as Lina being super prevalent in the game mode. So this makes melee teams less attractive to be used, and that's why Mad Panda Trio doesn't see a lot of use within the Colosseum when they are initially released. So moving towards the arena side, I think MP3 is an excellent arena unit. Number one, the party buff, which is melee damage, is a very powerful party buff that is commonly seen in the melee crit team. You can also run Mad Panda in the defensive melee team, or just double melee team in general, although it's not as strong as in the past, and they will work perfectly fine. So this unit is extremely strong there, and the ability to actually time your One For All is very crucial, because One For All has two parts to it. One, more damage, right, and more chasing capability, as you're able to use the drill attack on the enemy if you have your EX weapon. And secondly, you have defense increase as well as damage negation. So if you use the skill at the correct time, you might be able to avoid big damage incoming from certain animations of different units, and that is something which is nothing to be scoffed at, because one thing which made Future Princess really good in the past was her damage negation ability. So for Mad Panda Trio, you're able to negate the skill of your enemy whenever you are able to transform into the Party Crasher form. So that's pretty insane if you think about it. Over the course of 30 seconds, you're probably able to negate at least, I'll say like 5 or even 6, I'll say 6 damage ticks, because you're probably able to transform into the Party Crasher form at least 3 times if you're tanky enough. And one thing about this unit is that it has a massive weapon skill AoE. So landing the weapon skill is actually not very hard, as you're able to hit the enemies pretty easily, as you're able to keep a distance whenever you use the weapon skill. So it's a very good weapon skill to chase after your enemy. And overall, I really love the design of this unit, because it's not overly one button base. You don't really just press one button, and timing your skills as well as using the synergy of the other 2 units whenever they're on the field is very important for this unit to thrive within the arena. So as I already released a video which is named MP3 EXE, which showcased the ability of this unit in the arena. I'm not going to showcase it on this video. I'm going to link the video on the card above. So if you guys want to see more of this unit in action in the arena, feel free to visit the video link to have a look at how this unit actually plays out in the game mode itself. So moving towards the PvE discussions, like I mentioned earlier, I'll be also talking about the AoE prowess of the unit. So first of all, MP3 is an amazing unit in terms of dealing AoE damage because the normal attack, the weapon skill, as well as the secondary ability transformation all deal a tons of AoE damage, which makes this unit excellent in multi-mobbing game modes such as the Expedition, Defensive Co-op, 3v3, as well as the Camazon LAN. However, if you look at this unit from the raid perspective or the perspective of hitting boss units, this unit is not the strongest because it has a decent melee attack party buff, but the rest of the kit doesn't really offer much to increase the damage you do to the bosses. So things like defense reduction, elemental resist down, as well as your various attack, crit hit multiplier, crit chance buff, they're not included in this unit. So you won't really see people running this unit for the Earth raid teams because Earth element as a whole is just generally stronger on the range spectrum right now. So the Earth raid teams will usually be your Muriel Kamal combination. So that's why MP3 is really not a good pick in terms of doing raids. So as a unit, I think MP3 is excellent when it's piloted by the players because you're able to control your weapon skill trajectory as well as the usage of your secondary ability. So I'll put this unit as a high A tier to low S tier unit, as this unit is not bad, but it's a lot better only when you are controlling it, right? If it's controlled by the AI, it might not be as strong, and it's not a must pull if you're just looking to, you know, pull for unit to boost your overall PvE prowess. So yeah, that's for MP3 in terms of the PvE discussions. So below are some reasons to pull or invest in the Mad Panda Trio. And how worthy is Mad Panda Trio Potentially? It's a very fun and refreshing unit which is strong when played correctly while not being overboard in terms of power level. In the event of AI control, this unit might not be able to display its full prowess, but trust me, it's able to perform really well and do many crazy feats when you put it in the hands of a good player. At the same time, being one of the OG characters to start our adventures in Canterbury in World 1, Mad Panda Trio is definitely worthy of our investment just in terms of the nostalgia aspect. So that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully this video is helpful in terms of allowing you to make a decision whether or not to pull for this unit, and do let me know down in the comment section below whether or not you'll pull for the anniversary Mad Panda Trio unit. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe in order to see more videos from this channel. I'll see you guys again in my next video. Bye guys.